Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today we're going to make a simple bridal bouquet, or a kind of tied posy style bouquet that you could give for a gift, but essentially it's with wedding in mind. The flowers I've got oriental lily, bear grass, sea holly or eryngium, alstroemeria. We've got a range of foliage, calla lilies, Naomi rose, and I've got one or two short delphinium that I just thought would bring a touch of kind of like a country feel and a splash of colour as well. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make a hand-tied bouquet. And the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at our lily. So our lily has got quite good flowers, but I've taken off the pollen because we don't want the pollen. And I'm really not wanting these to be too dominant. So we're going to use these within the bouquet, but hidden within the bouquet really. So I'm just using my left hand to hold our bouquet, and I don't want to make a bouquet that's totally formal or has a very set shape. I want it to have a kind of slightly natural feel. So we'll just keep it loose, keep it open, and work it in. So what I've done is I've arranged all the materials that I would like to use on the desk, but not necessarily that we're going to have to use them all. Sometimes you're better having a little bit more ready and then take it from there. So what I'm doing as well is I want to have some movement coming away from the bouquet. So really it has an open, loose feel to it. So I think if we bring in a rose or two now, that will help. Really the roses are going to be a little bit heavier, so they're better towards the centre of our bouquet. I think if we put this piece of ruskus in, then that's going to help just keep that under control a little bit. So we see a lot of tied posies where they're very much round and they have a very set shape. Sometimes it's nice just to have your materials, have your colours, but then see where you end up with your actual flowers. So rather than having a set judgment that it's going to be a shower or it's going to be a posy, then just have it as a loose, open, tied bouquet. That may have no particular shape, it's just loose and free and natural. Now I do love bear grass. You've got to be a little bit careful with the bear grass because it can be sometimes in the bunch a little bit dirty. If you get it and it comes in and it's very dirty, then it's worth washing it and getting rid of that dirt before you start. Saying that, when we get to the end here, what I like to do is I like to make a bouquet maybe the day before, leave the stems long, put the whole thing into water right up to the tying point, and then the next day I would finish the bouquet off. So they've really had all night to get a good drink, and any dirt or pieces that are lodged into the stems will be able to loosen off as well. So as you can see, we've kind of created a bit of volume, and it's really once you add like the roses, the roses are really bringing the weight into the bouquet. Obviously our big lilies are a heavy flower as well. So they're getting held and protected by the flowers round about. It's not a flower I would generally use for weddings, to be honest. I would tend to put people off because they're big and heavy, and because sometimes they just don't open when you want them to open, or they're too open. So the quality can be a little bit variable. But also, it's a heavy flower. So how do you deal with that heavy flower? I'm just looking to see where I need our flowers. And actually the other materials are giving a bit of protection to our delphinium as well. So both the delphinium and the oriental lilies are the ones that need a little bit of protection. So let's just have a little look. We've got a little bit of movement this way, so it can be held up the way, down the way. I do have some nice ivy, and we could maybe add that in. I want to come away from just having it here though. I think we need a little bit more this side. Yeah, so this is really balancing there. And the little salal, I find, is a very good foliage for just finishing off. So you can bring it round the edge. It makes a nice little collar. It kind of sits up and it just gives a little bit of protection to the flowers as well. So obviously take off anything that's damaged. And this is where you can add like a little bit of detail, like that was just a little short piece of ivy we can bring in there. So just having a little look, yeah, we're good. I think I'll move this rose from here. We don't need quite as long a stem, and probably put it over to this side. So just because you think you're finished doesn't mean that you can't adjust it, that you can't have a little look and see. Like, actually I don't think we need two of them there. We can move one over to here. So to do that, I'm just following the spiral, threading it in carefully because the callas can be a little bit easily broken. So now we've spaced these out a little bit better. Could maybe even move this one. You can see that they're very thin. So really an adjustment at the end is no bad thing. You can adjust the heights of things, how they're sitting. But I'm really happy with that. So what we'll do is we'll tie it off. I've got some natural twine in just a dark colour. And just going round it a couple of times, and then just a double knot, or even a triple knot. I want it to be firm. You don't want it so tight that it's digging right in, but you want it to be firm. So what I would tend to do is cut this a little bit and put it into water. And then you can finish it off on the day. And what I would normally do is tie it just a little bit lower down as well. So as you can see, because we stripped off any foliage or bits on the stems, we've got nice clean stems essentially. Tying it at two places. Yes, we've got the binding point, but by tying it in two places, we're actually giving ourselves a handle that we can use. So, if I just trim this roughly, what I would do then is I would put this into water, let it sit overnight, and then just check it in the morning that I'm quite happy with it. and take it from there. So there's different ways that you can finish this. You can wrap it with ribbon, you could do it with an aspidistra leaf. There's different ways, and we actually have a video that show you 3 different methods for finishing off a bridal bouquet. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video. We've created a simple bouquet that actually, even as a gift, would be a beautiful thing rather than a big packaged bouquet. But just nice and light and open, and really with a nice selection of flowers. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, then click here to subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, please share it so that your friends can see it as well. Let's try and encourage people to get interested in flowers. So take care and see you soon.